I'm just going to think optimistically. I mean, it's optimistic, pessimistic thinking in a way, because it would be good to get more work this week. Well, it's this week, but it's also Friday afternoon, so optimistically, it's really optimistic to think I would get anything else this afternoon that could be picked up and delivered today during business hours, because business hours are going to be done here shortly. Dang. Good thing these trailer brakes are working. I'm glad I cranked them up some. He got caught up with Bill. He had his treatment and he's on his way home. And the weather's cold up there now for this time of year. It's 68 degrees behind that front that blew through this morning. So it was definitely a weird kind of norther that came barreling through. A little odd. And I'm just getting into Weatherford, Texas. And I was debating which way to go here. I could have taken the bypass around, but I decided, hell no, I'm going to go right through the middle of town and take the back way in to Stephensville, because I do not want to get on Interstate 20 actually today. Just soon stay off the interstates. Don't have that much interest in running them, but I have to navigate the courthouse square down here in downtown. It's kind of fun to do with a trailer on, but this isn't a super long trailer, so it should be okay. I've hauled longer through here. I've hauled doubles through here, so this should be no big deal. It's just I'm always a little anxious about it until I get up here and actually do it, because I know it's a little squeezy for room, and I don't like getting crowded by cars in the other lane. You know, when you're pulling a trailer and you're driving around a curve, your trailer tracks to the inside of the curve a little bit. So it's challenging to get through these little roundabout things like town squares and roundabouts themselves. You know, you have to kind of pay attention to what you're doing. But I've done it before, and I'm sure I'll do it again. So this is the way I opted to go. The bypass takes you way the hell out around town, and then it dumps you out on the interstate, and that's just not interesting to me at all today. So here we go. Getting into downtown Weatherford, Texas right now. Weatherford's a decent sized town. It's not huge. It's not little either. I mean, it's got pretty much everything. It's got all the options. And it has kind of a cool downtown area. They've got some antique shops and things down through here that are kind of neat. It's neat looking. Then they've got this beautiful old-fashioned courthouse square, which I think is just great. I actually like going through here because I like the way it looks. Even if it is a little nerve-wracking with the trailer on. You know. If if I had, well, I've been through here with my 40-foot trailer, so I can't say that. I was going to say if I had a really long trailer, I might not come this way, but that's not true, because I would. I've done it many a time back in the day when I hauled my own 40-foot trailer around and just put stuff on it to deliver instead of delivering the trailers. Yeah, I pulled that through here, I don't know how many times. A few, let's just say. Just feels like it gets a little squinchy. I mean, it's not too bad, but it does feel like they choke it down a little bit widthwise coming in here. I think it's probably because of the people parking on the sides of the street. That's why it feels tight, if I had to guess. I say that a lot, don't I? If I had to guess. Sometimes I do have to guess at things because I don't necessarily know. But I am bold enough to venture a guess anyway. But when I'm guessing at something, I'm also not like married to my opinions on it. If I don't have a factual basis for my opinion. If it's a guess, it's a guess. And it can be adjusted and changed, you know, pretty easily. There's another one of these white Jeeps with the pink accents on it. Girls seem to like that. I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool looking if you like all that pink. I used to hate pink, but I actually am starting to like it more the older I get. I just don't like hot pink so much. I think it's a little too for me. Little too for me. I like pale pink and salmon pink, and you know, I'm getting to like those colors better. They look better on me now with my ancient skin, you know, than a lot of the other colors I used to wear, like black. Black was my big color for decades. You know, it was like just about every other top in my closet was black. Black t-shirts, black button downs, black whatever, black snap fronts. I still got a couple. But I've kind of gotten away from that, not because I don't like black anymore, because I still do. I like the way it looks on me, but it's so damn hot here in the summer. It's like wearing black is a good way to torture yourself needlessly, actually. It's like, you know, well, why don't I just torment myself? You know? I think I'll torture myself by wearing black. I think I will. Okay, now what are these guys doing? I guess I gotta yield to them. I guess they got a light or something. This is awkward. Hello.
Hey, while I was in here, I was checking the largest video memory card they got.
Yeah.
Is a 400 gigabyte.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got two coming. Go ahead and hold off on it, because I've got two 500s coming tomorrow in the mail.
Oh, okay.
And if they're not crappy ones, then they'll be sufficient.
Right.
But I found my 400.
Okay.
Yeah, I found
All
it.
right.
So. Okay.
I'll call you back.
Alrighty, sounds good. Man, I'm having a hell of a time getting through this intersection. Yeah, love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, shoot. Alright. So where was I? I was trying to get through the intersection. That was interesting. Getting stuck sitting there like that. That's okay. It all works out. I'm still glad I came this way because it's, you know, I'd much rather run the back roads. I'm just to the point now where I'm just over interstates, so unless it's a necessity, I won't get on them, pretty much. It's my attitude these days. And I don't think it's a bad attitude to have, actually. I think it's just fine and freaking dandy. So, you know, there you have it. Oh, getting some air in here. Sun's out now. It's getting hot in this truck. It's 88 degrees out, so it's pushing 90 degrees down here. my way through town. This is one of those times I try and stay more toward the center of the lane, or the center edge of the lane, toward the median in the middle, the turning strip or whatever. Try and give people in the right lane over there plenty of room. I don't want anybody bumping up against this trailer and damaging it. I'm trying to make it, you know, as easy for them to miss it as I possibly can. Almost to the end of this loop, another 8/10 of a mile, and we'll be on 377. I've really got to look at that, how 377 ends up down here, because 377, I don't know. Is it still 377 where it goes into Whitesboro? Maybe. It might cut right down from Whitesboro over down through Dallas and dump out over in here. Maybe it's like an old leftover road that went directly through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'll bet it is. That would kind of make sense, because we're on the southwest side of the Dallas-Fort Worth area now. Okay, this is a sport chassis hauler. This guy that's fixing to go here, that's exactly what you need to pull a horse trailer that big. That's it right there. He's got three horses in there, a big living area. That's exactly the vehicle you need if you're gonna get into these big fancy horse trailers. Smart guy, smart man right there. He has my trailer hauler seal of approval for using his head for something besides to hold up his hat, as far as it goes with hauling trailers. I imagine he came by that knowledge, honestly. He's probably progressed up through different sized trailers, or the owner of that trailer has, in different sized trucks, until they finally settled on one that's enough truck for that much trailer. I mean, if you're going to be pulling a big ass horse trailer like that, putting your expensive, adorable horses in the back end of it and toting them around, you better have a good heavy duty vehicle pulling them so that it's a safe ride for you and them and everybody involved. And these little 1-ton trucks are not enough truck anymore to pull something that big. They never have been enough truck to pull something that big. People have been doing it because they didn't know or didn't have an option, but you know, no way would I try and pull that trailer with this truck. Nope. Now, empty, delivering it might be one thing. It would be too much truck or too much trailer almost for this truck empty. But with horses in it and all the tack and all the, you know, household gear and the living quarters, no, it would be way too much. Way too much. I pulled one similar to that back in the day, and it was a heavy bitch, and it was about that long. It was a 40-foot horse trailer with fancy living quarters. I went up to Indiana and picked that thing up. In fact, that was the last job I did for this company before I retired the first time. And I went out there and picked this behemoth up, and I was driving a much bigger truck at that time. I was driving a Dodge Ram 5500, so it was a 2-ton truck. It was much beefier than this truck and much higher towing capacity. And that trailer was so freaking heavy. I think I got 5 miles to the gallon pulling it all the way back to Oklahoma. And I was supposed to haul it down into Texas, but I had to go so slow and it was burning so much fuel, I ended up taking it out to my broker's house. And I just told him, I said, I don't have, and I was late for going to my nephew's wedding. I said, I do not have time to finish delivering this. I'm sorry. Just cut me a check for whatever you think is fair and pay somebody else to take it the rest of the way down. He was cool with it. He was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But that was too much trailer for a 2-ton truck. So I know what I'm talking about when I say that is way too damn much trailer for a 1-ton truck. Way too much. So that guy's got it. He's got the combination right. Looks like overkill, but it's not. It's exactly what he needs to be driving to pull that thing safely. A couple of reasons for that. One is just the sheer weight of it. You know, obviously that's a heavy trailer. That's probably, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, with the horses and everything in that, if it's not customized, if that's just a stock trailer with the standard living quarters and stuff, and the horses inside, that's probably somewhere between 20 and 22,000 pounds rolling down the road. But it's super long, it's super heavy. If it's customized, it could be as much as 35,000 pounds. So, I mean, they add a lot of weight to them when they customize them. But the thing about it is, yes, this truck could pull that trailer without the horses in it. It could pull it. But the stopping ability of the truck is less than the stopping ability of that truck. And you've got to think about not only what you can pull with a truck, which this truck would be working hard to pull that trailer. You know, there's no two ways about it. It would be having to really work hard. But it's not just about pulling it, it's also about being able to stop it. So, you know, as you go up in trailer size and weight, then you also have to go up in truck braking capacity, braking ability. So, you know, that's something you have to take into consideration too when you go to think about what vehicle do I need to pull this trailer with. So there's more to the equation than just the weight of the trailer off the lot. You know, there's horses, tack, gear, and all that stuff's heavy. Horses are heavy, you know. So all that has to figure into your equation, and then your stopping ability, stopping distances. So I'm really impressed to see somebody with brains enough to be driving a sport chassis hauler to haul that kind of a trailer, which is exactly the vehicle you need to haul that kind of a trailer. That's pretty cool. And they call that a sport chassis hauler. And I've talked about this before. I'll probably do it again because this is one of my pet topics. A sport chassis hauler is basically a semi-truck that has a truck bed on it. It's not considered a tractor trailer. So it's a sport chassis. It's a sport. It's not like a commercial semi-truck, although they can be registered commercially. But they're usually not a commercial setup, but they're called a truck because they have a truck bed on them. And a sport chassis is what it says, a sport chassis as opposed to a commercial chassis. So it's entirely set up for that kind of hauling. You know, it's very specific. They use them for great big RVs and great big horse trailers with living quarters and other things. You know, some people have those and pull race cars. Some people have, you know, they have a trailer with a race car in it, or a couple of them. Or they might have, you know, whatever, some kind of a specialty trailer that they, you know, they need a big truck for, but they don't want to just run a standard semi truck. So that's the situation where they use those kind of trucks. But I think they're cool. If I was just getting started and I was like 15 years younger, I would have bought that one that's sitting outside of Duncan right now, and I would go back to hauling the big trailers. I just don't want the hard work involved with it anymore. It's too much physical labor hauling trailer stacks and stuff. So those are great for hauling big stacks of trailers. You know, anything that is hauled on a gooseneck ball, those are good for. And you can have them set up with, of course, with a fifth wheel if that's what you're pulling, you know, for like a big RV or something. But most of these big fancy horse trailers are goosenecks. So that's, you know, just kind of cool. I'm just tickled to see that. Can you tell? I've been talking about it for what, 10 minutes now? Oh my God. Yeah. So kind of pitiful that something so you know, random can keep me entertained for so long. Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't have a green arrow. I need to stop. Probably a good thing I noticed that. Okay, right up here, we'll make a left-hand turn. Shortly, another left-hand turn, just right here. This little street. This is where it starts getting scrunchy tight. This is a little trailer though compared to what I'm usually hauling around in here, so this is pretty nice. I don't feel quite so scrunched in here as I did last time. Okay, I'm not going to lose my cool here today. I'm not going to let these people irritate me. Looks like their parking lot's pretty wide open for a change. That's amazing. I get in here sometimes and it's just like chaotic cluster mess. Freaking awful. So this is okay too. This is good. This is leading me to feel more happy about doing this. Okay, so I'm going to just pull it up and stop here. I think what they'll probably do is have me unhitch it and then I'll pull up out from under it and go back around it. So anyway, telephone here. unhitched, except for lifting it off the truck. I got everything undone. And the guy has known since I went in the office that I'm here to deliver this, and he still hasn't come out. So he's not respecting my time. But I'm not going to let him get my goat today. Yeah. Can you tell? So anyway, we're sitting here. My brother said I need to repeat this story because I told it the other day up in Colorado. But my audio went to crap, so half of it, I don't know if you can even hear. And I didn't catch it before I published it, so I feel bad about that. But one of the things about being a cop is that you tend to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't meet. You know, certain circumstances, like you're working concerts or this or that other thing. Well, there were certain people I wanted to meet that I never got to meet because I wasn't one of the department golden children that, you know, got those perks. Those went to other people, and I won't call them butt kissers, but you know the kind of people I'm talking about. They got all the cake stuff. They got to meet all the famous people and this and that and the other thing. So I never really got to meet anybody, but I was actually, even though I worked a bunch of concerts and stuff, I never was allowed to meet, you know, like the star or whatever. I was not privileged in that sense. But I walked into the Safeway store in Craig one day. It's long since been closed down now, but they had a Starbucks in the Safeway store. And I walked in there one day, I was in uniform, and I'm a big girl anyway, and I don't mean fat, I mean tall, big. And when I was in my uniform, I was wearing about 40 extra pounds of gear and, you know, big duty boots with thick soles. And so I looked awfully big, I'm sure, with my bulletproof vest and, you know, my gun and all the stuff on my belt and, you know, 38 pounds of shit that I carried around everywhere for years. So I'm sure I was kind of a sight, you know, like people would be, because people stared at me quite a bit, and I'm sure they were thinking, what the hell? I don't know what they were thinking, but I got stared at a lot, so I was kind of used to that. So I walked in Safeway one day, and I'm going along, and I see this guy standing there, and he's a little bitty guy. He's not very tall, not like minuscule, but not a tall guy. And I'm thinking, man, he looks familiar to me. And it turns out he shouldn't have looked familiar to me because it's Mike Rowe, the guy off of Dirty Jobs. And so I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, wow, you know, that's Mike Rowe. And I noticed two things about him right off the bat, aside from his lack of height. He's not a very tall guy. He's not super short either, but he's not as tall as I am, which I found surprising because I thought he was a 6-footer, but he's not. But the two things I noticed was, one, his face was longer than most people's faces look. And maybe that's why he does well on TV. You know, maybe that's what your face has to be, you know, impressive for you to be on TV or something. So that was one of the things I was thinking. The other thing I was thinking is, man, he looks like he just wants to be left alone because he's kind of looking down at the floor and not really making eye contact with anybody. He didn't look up at me when I walked by, and I know he had to have seen me coming because, you know, it's not like I was sneaking around. When you're my size, you don't sneak unless it's dark out, okay? Put it that way. So he didn't look up. Well, I'm looking at him, kind of thinking, yep, that's him for sure. And I thought about saying hi, and I kind of wish I had, but I didn't because he didn't look like he wanted to talk. He just looked like he was tired and disgusted, and he'd been filming something about castrating sheep or something. That's what he was in town for. I'd heard about it, but I didn't really think too much about it because I figured odds are I'll never see him. But there he was. And I just didn't say hi. I just went on by and got my Starbucks coffee, and I'm standing there in line waiting. And to this day, I have no idea if he ever looked up and saw me or not. As far as I know, he didn't, but I just thought it was bizarre. It was like, what do you do? You see somebody that you actually enjoy their work. Do you interrupt their private time? Because I considered that to be a person's private time. If they're on a break, you know, from their job, I'm not going to go up and start messing with them and trying to, you know, screw with them, get their attention and all that. He looked tired, and he looked like he just wanted to be left alone. So that was as close as I ever came to talking to a modern, like, famous person. I mean, the other two people I actually met. I met Art Linkletter, which if you're of a certain age, you'll know who I'm talking about. If you're not, it doesn't matter because you won't know anyway. But he was an old guy on TV, and I was working security at the Steamboat Springs Airport, or at the Yampa Valley Airport, actually, not Steamboat, the Yampa Valley one in Hayden. And he was there in the secure area. And I thought, I need to go take this opportunity to go say hi to him and ask him for an autograph from my mother, because she really liked him. It was her generation of, TV people. So he was very nice, talked to me for quite a while, gladly signed her an autograph. It was really nice. He was a really sweet old guy. So I got to talk to him, and then the other person that I actually met was General Schwarzkopf, and it was right after Desert Storm. And he came through the airport in uniform, so we all got lined up out in the breezeway, to greet him as he walked through. And I didn't really speak to him except other than to say hello, And he nodded and said hello to all of us and went on through. But you talk about command presence, he had it. You could tell he was the general in the room. And he owned every inch of it, so that was kind of cool. But my brother, Wes, who watches all my videos and who makes his own videos, particularly wanted me to retell that, because evidently the audio was just so bad he couldn't really hear too much of it. But he wanted to hear the rest of the story. So that was the rest of the story, if you didn't get it from my video I put up a week or so ago. Now I've been sitting here for, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes. And no guy. He's right. What's it up here? He had to go get his checklist, I guess is what he's saying. They got a long checklist they got to go through. Okay, so he just disappeared on me. He went to get something. I'm going to pull up out from under this thing and back over out of the way. That's the only option I've got here. Well, I could go in here and turn around, I guess. I think I will, then I can see what I'm doing when I go back past the trailer. I don't want to hit that thing, for sure. As long as they don't freak out and run me out of here. Doesn't look like anybody's panicking, so I guess I'm safe to do this. Now, some places they got rules, that they know, but I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and park and wait for him to do his stuff. And find a place to park. I guess I can just back up here, because where else am I going to go? Just get out of the way as much as I can and wait on this guy now. Wait some more. All right, so we're just waiting. They really make me not ever want to bring anything in here again when they do this shit. But that's okay. I can do things like set my GPS for home. I can do my logbook while I'm sitting waiting. Okay, pick up Chickasha. Drop off Decatur. Texas. That was a half an hour sitting in Decatur waiting for him to get that done. One o'clock here. Now I'm sitting and waiting. Been sitting and waiting half an hour now. He's still not out here inspecting it to get it in. Evidently, they've got a really slow intake process, I think is a fair way to put it without being overly dramatic. Delivered. Trailer. Stephensville, Texas. Yeah, so I'm not gonna let it trigger me. It's funny shit. Okay, he's out here now. He's working it, doing his shit. I'm gonna sit here and do my shit, do my paperwork and shit. So Chickasha, to Decatur, to Stephensville. I always forgot to put the S in there. Texas. Rate. Okay, 450. Oh, this may be the same guy. I don't know. Let's see. Bill rate 450 plus 55 plus 75 . Okay, so evidently they're real bitches about getting their trailers in, about their intake process. He has to walk around it and video it first, and then he has to go over it with a fine-tooth comb and look at it. But I know what to expect now, so I'm gonna sweat it. Okay, 450 minus 10% equals 405 plus 55 equals 460. Clear, and 75 minus 10%, 6750. So this is a shitty week, shitty week, but it's better than nothing, as bad as it is. But it was a 2 days of it eaten up by a federal holiday, so what do? 6750. $791.50 for the week. That really sucks. Before expenses. Of course, my expenses have been low because I haven't gone anywhere, so I guess there's that. You know, there's a silver lining to every freaking black, annoying cloud. So they say. And I'm gonna guess it's 1:30 now. I'm not getting out of here until 1:45 is going to be my guess. So I will leave that hanging in my logbook, so I don't have to X out a bunch of stuff on my log. My logs look hideous by the time I get done doing them. I have to, at home at night, or when I stop at night in the motel, I recopy them so I can actually read them myself. I can still remember what they're supposed to say. Okay, I'm not going to give this guy any grief today. Not today. Okay. So right, so all I gotta do now is just wait till he signs me off and I can get out of here. I should go out there and video it while he's doing this. I'm not gonna torment him. It would be funny though. I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's meticulous, you know. It takes a certain kind of person to be that finicky. Goodies to the interior. He likes that. Okay, I'm going to take my mic off. Hopefully get this signed off on. Okay, I'm so proud of myself for not being a jerk. Sometimes you're tempted, you know what I mean? But I'm glad that I didn't act like a jerk. And he was polite too, so, you know. We evidently got off on the wrong foot the first time we met. But you don't have to stay on the wrong foot, apparently, and it is 1:35. So I'm actually leaving a little sooner than I thought I would, but that's okay because I'll stop down here. Okay, home. Yes, I don't want toll roads. There's no reason for me to run a toll road going home from here. That's bullshit. It's freaking GPS, I swear. What a racket. It'll do anything to get you on an interstate or a toll road, whatever it has to try. I'm sure that's by design. Pretty sure. Okay. Okay. Evidently I defeated that whole idea. This is good. I need to notify my office. Dang it, forgot. Send her this. Okay. Take a picture. Yes, please. Outlaw is delivered. Have a good weekend. Okay. Outlaw. Okay. These can go back in here and I'll mail those into her tomorrow. Try to remember to send my paperwork in once a week so she doesn't have to remind me. You know, I figure I'm a big girl. I should be able to remember to do this stuff on my own without having somebody prod me like a cow. But I've got a weird way of looking at things, don't I? I can be such a dip. Okay, cool. So we are done. Unless something comes up, we're done for the weekend. I mean, shitty week pay-wise. Did not reach my minimum 1,000 goal, but not bad for basically a 3-day work week. I mean, usually I've got 5 days to work with. 5 days to sit around waiting for a job. This week I only had 3, so, you know. Oh, they've got something over there too, same outfit. Oh, they're part of that maybe. No, maybe not. They just sell them. Fancy schmancy stuff, man. Fancy horse stuff. I don't know what to say except that's fancy shit. Fancy trailers, fancy trucks. I'm just not that fancy. You know? I am not that fancy of a person. The fanciest I get is when I put on my denim skirt and go deliver trailers in a denim skirt and black tights. Because I get tired of wearing jeans all the time. That's as fancy as I get pretty much right there. I used to get fancy every once in a while. But I haven't had any place to go to dress up aside from funerals for the past 15 years, so, you know. And you can't get real fancy with a funeral if you want to be respectful, so I don't. Typically haven't. Try not to, you know, do anything to shame Bill. I'd have to work pretty hard to shame Bill, I think. He's about as easygoing as a person can be. There are a few things that'll light his fuse, but they're few and far between, and I don't strike matches around them for the most part. I don't step on those nerves. Don't believe in picking fights with him. Which is not to say we never have a little tiff about something, but we have. But for the most part, you know, we don't hold it against each other and then we get over it and forget about it. There's a Stephensville cemetery, East Memorial Park. I wonder if that's the one the alien's supposed to be buried in. You know, there's supposed to be an alien buried in the cemetery here. I'm not kidding. You know, this is kind of a commonly accepted fact, because it was published in the newspaper here back in the 1800s that something crashed here, and they buried the dead body of, I guess what they were calling the driver or the pilot or whatever, in the Stephensville cemetery. So they say. So nope, that's not a joke. Really. Really, it's not a joke. It sounds like a joke, but it's not. I've never seen anything weird here when I've come through, day or night. I've never seen any weird shit in the sky. But people do occasionally see weird shit in the sky here. It's a rather nice, attractive arrangement this guy's got with his little dually here. It's a nice bed on there. It's like almost like a Western Star type setup. Kind of like that. Rather than having a recessed hitch like I've got that I can close over the top, that one has a V-shaped notch that goes all the way up beyond the hitch. So, you know, it's just very accessible if you're hauling trailers a lot. The advantage to mine is I can use the flat bed when I'm not hauling a trailer. And I can use parts of it even if I am. If there's something I need to put on that trailer back there, I can tie it down to the bed. Because the trailer's, or the bed's flat all the way across, as opposed to that's not. It's got a dip in the middle of it. And I can close my recessed hitch door to keep my ball from getting rained on or hit by anything or whatever. Keep it from getting torn up. So there are advantages to both. But that's definitely a much prettier bed style. That Western Star, Western Hauler, I forget what they call that. They're much more attractive than your average flatbed. go on up here and check the mail and quit at the gate and call it a day. And then we'll start over again in the morning. Oh my gosh. Really not into working tomorrow, but you know, what do you do? But what I won't do is I won't film the whole entire trip tomorrow. I'll just do short snippets between point A and point B and see how that works out for tomorrow. Because today was kind of an experiment to see if I could do the whole day. And tomorrow I'll break it up with, you know, into individual segments within one video. We'll see how that goes too. And then, you know, feel free to give me feedback. If you like one way better than the other, let me know. I'm really interested to know what y'all think when you're watching these videos. I mean, do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you think they're okay? You think I can do this different or that different? Or do you think they just suck and they're irredeemable or whatever? Whatever your opinion is, let me know, because, you know, if you give me some feedback on it, more of what you want to see, or if I'm doing something you like versus something you hate, let me know. You know, then I can adjust my methods here to where they're, you know, better. Whole point is to get better at it as I go along doing it, right? Because, like I said, I keep saying I'm learning, but I've been doing it for over a year now, and you know, it's still experimenting with things, trying to find the right recipe, I guess, so to speak. You know, for making just the right length, the right amount of scenery, and the right kind of video that's going to be, you know, enjoyable. I don't want to make them too miserably long and dull, and I don't want to make them too short and incomplete. So, I mean, there's got to be a middle ground there somewhere, but let me know what you think. I'm genuinely interested in your opinion, so feel free to leave it below. If you're watching my videos and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because, you know, YouTube does everything by your subscriber count. And if people watch your videos but they don't subscribe to them, you don't really get credit like you do if people actually subscribe. So it makes a lot of difference in how YouTube will treat me if y'all like my stuff, if you'll just subscribe. Yeah, it's free. Doesn't cost anything at all, not a dime. So I'm going to check my mail and end this video here at the driveway, and I want to thank you all for riding along. I appreciate it greatly, and I will see you, I guess, tomorrow when I do all this stuff all over again, like the crazy person I think I probably am. How's that for an ending? Y'all, take care. I'll catch you in the next episode. Good night.